What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza, coming to you with another installment of the Bullpen Live from the PGF Week 3. We hope you guys are having an excellent day. We're having a pretty good day here over at headquarters, and I got to tell you guys, the excitement is in the air. There is a few changes, maybe not, that you are familiar with. We will do our best to tell you the latest information, but for right now, I'm going to turn it over to my good friend, Tim Freeman. Tim, how are you doing, sir?
Rafa Esparza, I'm doing fantastic. It is week 3. This is meat grinder week. We know that if you could make it through week 3 without suffering a major injury, a spa day, a setback, some kind of pushback that keeps you down, you will have a chance to move forward. The bracket, listen, the individual playoffs are still open. They're not sealed up yet. So I'm looking for guys to make moves. Even though it's a meat grinder, we got some dudes that are looking to push, man. I'm excited for the matchups tonight.
I am too. Did you think of a better word choice than meat grinder? Because given the fact that jiu-jitsu already is described by many people who do it as a weird thing, calling it a meat grinder, not my first choice of words.
I mean, it's not, but it really is. Nothing quite describes week 3 like a meat grinder.
I would agree. Okay, well, I see a few notes. It says, let's go, Travis and Noah. Thank you. How long till the matches start? Well, presumably they start after the pre-show, which is us. I think you've got about 30 minutes. So just to give you that heads up, I see April Thomas coming in to make sure she gets her vote for Jet Thomas. And it says, this is my saddest one, I hate this is half over, Tim. Are you having emotions that we are essentially halfway through regulation for the actual season?
I mean, I'm not sad only because I know there's going to be another one right around the corner. So I'm stoked for that. And, you know, it is a really fun thing. It is great to get together and see these athletes, but always know, especially with the gang at the PGF, they've always got something cooking for next time.
Absolutely. You don't have to wait too long here. We tend to be very much on the fast side of making things work. But I want to tell you this, Tim. We have so much to get to, so much stuff on the board that I think people need to be updated on. I will ask you this, though. While you're at home, while you're waiting, just off the cuff, we're going to talk about matches, but is there anything you miss about being here live with us, sir?
Oh, yes. I miss being in the environment and feeling the buzz and the energy off of the athletes. And, you know, I like to follow and pay attention to what's going on when people are, you know, in the green room or they're walking out to the parking lot, just to get little tidbits and clues that I could stick to them later. I don't have the ability to do that right now. I'm kind of stuck in a cage back here in Nashville. So I'm trying to make observations from a distance. Typically, I'm pretty spot on because I know the street when I see it. But being there, I need to smell somebody to really get a read on if they're serious that day about winning. And I don't have that luxury this time.
You don't, and I can tell you, overrated. But nonetheless, it is good to be here, and I'm very excited about this. So what we're going to do here for you guys right here, right now, in the event you have missed 2 weeks of action, maybe even a draft, you have no idea what's going on, I am challenging my co-host to give you a recap of everything that happened last week that should bring you up to speed. Tim, I am putting time on the clock. And your time begins now.
Okay, so if you missed week 2, you missed a couple important things. There were 2 big movements, one on the individual athletes and another on the team score. So let's get to the team score since that's kind of the big fight that's going on right now. We know the Kings are out in front. We get it. They've been there for like 3 seasons practically. But coming up right behind them, we had the Twisters and the Phenoms, and they were neck and neck. They were separated by 2 points going into week 2. The Wolverines were right on the verge. And we can say this. We can say that the Twisters with a magnificent effort from Kevin Buring, moved quite a ways away from the Phenoms, and they pulled within 7 points. I believe they're at 53 right now of the Las Vegas Kings. The Phenoms did put some good points on the board, but not enough to kind of like keep that pace with the Alabama Twisters. We saw the Colorado Wolverines. It's like a movie scene when you're in the car and it's hanging over the side of the cliff, and all the Wolverines had to get out of the car and climb up to the back of it just to tilt that car back up and keep it from flipping over. And thankfully, we got to see Caleb Crump do that. He had a very sweet, special moment. If you haven't watched that match, go back and watch it. Caleb is a great athlete. He's a great dude. And it was nice to see him get his first win. He was very humble. It was a special moment. We saw Buring as an individual jump to the top of the leaderboard, passed up Jet Thompson. He's like, man, I'm sick of this kid. Jet was in there, looked like he slipped on a banana peel. He had his head taped up, and he was getting at it with his, the grin he's got. And Buring managed to pass him, so good on him. We also saw Elijah Carlton come alive, put some points on the board, moved up into the top 5. Nice job by him. We saw Sean Melanson make some moves. He made some comments. He made some content. He's all over the place. He's out there moving and shaking. Overall, pretty good night, I would say. A pretty good week for the PGF last week. We're shaping up real nice moving forward. So if you didn't get a chance to catch up and this doesn't satiate your appetite for jiu-jitsu, go back and watch the highlights. They got great highlight packages. They got the subs, the takedowns, the big moments. Do yourself a favor. Go back and watch through those. Get your fill, and then jump into week 3. It's been some great stuff so far. Great drama. We saw a little bit of controversy. Not that big of a deal, but we did see that in week 2 with some ointment. But beyond that, Raph, we're moving forward, man. I'm stoked, and that is your week 2 recap from the streets.
Thank you very much for that, Tim. And, you bring up some good points. There was a lot of stuff that people may have missed. So we're going to advance the board very slightly here. And I want to make sure that people know this, that as we advance this board, you're going to see us going into where do we stand right now. We're going to be talking very quickly about where we stand in all of the rankings. There's a lot of stuff that people want to know. And it's our job, I think, at least that's what they tell us, that we are to inform you guys as to what's going on. So why don't we start with the teams themselves? First off, we see over here, the Kings are still maintaining their lead at 60 points. But right behind them last week, the Twisters roared back with 53 points. And if the comment section is to be believed, Elijah Carlton submits 3 people again today. Just saying. I think that's a good way of looking at things if you want to turn around, but it's going to be a difficult day. Nonetheless, the Phenoms, not fully out of it, but a return to form would be good for them because they did slip to 3rd, and things move very fast here. Nonetheless, you got to figure if you're Andrew or Sean, you're really looking at how you can put points on the board today. And there's some good matchups we'll preview here in a second. And the Wolverines have 9 points. Now, today is an important day for them. Nonetheless, we'll see if they're able to maintain the momentum that they were able to get at the very end. You may notice that the last match of the day from them tends to do well. So, let's see if they can trick themselves into thinking the first match is the last match of the day and then go from there. Because who knows? Maybe that's just the missing element. We are unclear. Having said that, Tim, I think it is time for us to now look at the individual standings. And I would love if you could give us a little bit of your rundown on who stands where and what do they stand to gain just from today, sir.
Yeah, I can't see the points though, man. It's just slightly off.
I got
the board
you.
there.
I'll just put it over me then. Fine. Oh. Branding doesn't.
I didn't mean that. Yeah.
No, it's fine, Tim. I hear you. You can't see. You need to block me out entirely and part of the board, but that's fine. It's the sacrifice I make for this team.
Such a professional. So we got athlete standings. Listen, like I said earlier, Kevin Buring jumped to the top of the leaderboard. Not a surprise to me. Not a surprise to the commissioner, Brandon McCaffrey. He was talking on the broadcast about this being Kevin's coming out party, and I do believe he's right. Jet Thompson, always near the top. Number 2, he's 1 point behind Buring. He's lined up today to put some points on the board. And then we're following up with Austin Orenday. Again, another Las Vegas King. Chewy Magana, another Las Vegas King. Elijah Carlton from the Twisters jumped into the number 5 spot. And I know one of our users here, or one of our listeners said, Elijah's going to get 3 subs today. Listen, he's lined up with the potential to do that. I would not put it past him. If you look at his matchups today, he might end up on top of the leaderboard when it's all said and done. We know we got Sean Melanson here at number 6. We know he wants to put points up. I'd look for him to stay in this range. I don't think he's going to drop out of contention here. And then we got Haven, Andrew Cockle, Jared Facchetti. We got a handful of other guys that are relatively close to each other, and they're going to have to make some moves. If you're at the bottom of the leaderboard, you're not safe.
You are accurate about that. And hold on, let me just see if I can peer through.
Oh, man, I need to see the points, dude.
It's fine, Tim. There's the point.
I'm just kidding.
Points, me. I'm an important part of the show too, you dick. So, all right, let's kick that out then. Well, I think there's a couple updates, and one that just might have happened as we were waiting in the time.
Oh, wow.
So, Tim, what are some updates you can tell us that we should look to expect for this week that might be out of the norm of what people were expecting for this week?
Well, I could tell you what I know from my information gathering studio in Nashville. So we got the Wolverines being restored, as far as I know, to their original lineup. That means Groner and Wilson are back. I don't know what shape they're in. I have not heard. I don't know the extent.
Let's hold on that. There are some words on the street that there is a change even to that, Tim. There is a word, and I have not confirmed it. I am not 100% sure, but I thought I did hear somewhere along the way that Grimy may not be going today. So, just if you see that on the main broadcast, look for that as one of the top updates. But that is kind of the word on the streets out here. But continue on.
Okay, so look for that, man. And that also kind of changes the complexion of the matchups as well moving forward. If Wilson's out, obviously you're going to have somebody to replace him. And those opponents that are against the replacement are going to have a shot here. For the Phenoms, Noah McCauley's out. Armin Bruni is in. And then we also know that Kyle Chambers is out and Adkins is in his place. And then on the Twisters, the very, very lovely young man, I believe someone said he's 17 years old, which I actually kind of felt bad about. Anthony Salisbury is out with Giovanni Ortiz stepping in. The Kings, again, they're on the full professional setup, man. They are still going strong. They got a durable team there, so.
Which is good to see, because last week when you saw bandages happening, you were starting to wonder, like, how's that looking?
What happened?
But to our knowledge, they are starting their original lineup as well. So the Kings have not moved with any replacements yet, but they have 2 quality people waiting in the wings in CJ and JJ. Nonetheless, the emergence of these bench players coming in is going to be a very interesting proposition. And we're very, very intrigued to see how Gio handles this next upcoming series. He's a very qualified black belt. He has experience within the PGF, so that'll be very interesting to see. Before we move on, I love this comment out of all of yours. And yes, I will pick a favorite. Everyone hit the like button. It helps push this broadcast out. See, we can't give you stars, but we want to give you stars or a raid or whatever people do on this thing. I'm not quite sure. Let's do this. And yes, thank you. It says, let's go, Gio Ortiz, baby. This is slightly offensive, though. We got a note that everybody said we look sharp, but says Tib has a better haircut. Sir?
Oh, wow. You know what?
Tread lightly, sir.
that's directed towards me as a, I am publicly out with my baldness. Like, I don't always wear a cap. I do go out without a cap. This is not a bald cap. These glasses are not just regular glasses. I'm courageous in how I wear glasses. I'm colorblind and I'm bald. So you're messing with a bunch of issues here, man. Watch out, dude.
Well, Tim, I think it's time to put some time on the block as we now start telling people the matches that they should get excited to see this week. This is what people want to talk about. This is what we're going to transition to right here for your amusement and your entertainment. The first matches of the day are going to start with this. You got Jared versus Andrew, Chewy versus Derek, Austin versus Armin, Jet versus Derek, and Cam versus Sean. So just from this, the website was trying to tell you to have eyes on Cam versus Sean, but for you, Tim, what stands out for you before we get to your lock of the block?
Man, I think there's a couple intriguing matchups here. I think Magana Rayfield is going to be an interesting matchup because they're both guys that can get themselves into trouble sometimes in their matches, but sometimes, especially with Magana, he's been able to find a way out and win, which is pretty fun to watch. And Rayfield can as well. So I think that makes for an interesting matchup. The other matchup in here that I'm interested in, well, you said it, it's Herden in Sean Melanson, which I think, is going to be a good matchup. Similar kind of like body type. Like, I want to see these guys I want to see the commish tie their hands behind their back and just have them run and just blast chests into each other and see which one stands. That's how we'll determine who's going to win that match.
What I do like about that match is both of them seem very game for a physical match. And I don't know how to call that one just yet. I'm intrigued to see how it goes. There's been a lot of momentum both ways, but it is a brand new way today. So, Tim, what is your lock of this block, sir?
Man, my lock of the block, and I'm going back to the first match that I brought up, Chewy Magana. I love you. You've been exciting. You've been fantastic. But I'm telling you, your luck is going to run out tonight when you run into the angry train, Derek Rayfield, and he's got a first-class ticket with your name on it. The lock of the block, Derek Rayfield over Chewy Magana.
And that would break the streak of 5 wins in a row. Tonight, Chewy has a very, very tough night. So we will truly see if he is continuing the heater he has been on, but we move on to the next. Jake versus potentially Grimy, not quite sure on this. Gio versus Caleb, Travis versus Brett, Elijah versus Sam, and Kevin versus Jaden. Initial thoughts here, Tim.
There's some question marks in this lineup already with Strauss versus Wilson. I'm definitely interested in seeing Gio Ortiz and Caleb Crump. Listen, Crump is coming off a big win. He's feeling good, and winning changes everything. You can be pissed at your coach, mad at your teammates, upset at your wife and kids, but if you're putting W's on the board, you're smiling. So be interesting to see how he approaches that. The other matchup I'm looking forward to seeing is Elijah Carlton and Sam Schwarzenfeld. I just want to see how Sam is going to approach Carlton, given that Sam's pretty aggressive and Carlton's he looks like he's hanging out in an 1800s opium den when he's doing jiu-jitsu. He's just kind of chilling on the floor and kind of hanging, and then he he goes into something. So yeah, I know you're shaking your head. I'm sorry, man, but it's true.
It's okay. It's fine. Tim, what is the lock of this block, sir?
Man, this is a tough one, to be honest with you. When I look it over, there's a lot of names on here that's like, dang, but I'm going to throw myself a bone. And I know this is that's easy to do, but it's not easy to do. I had to put myself out here, and I'll tell you, there's one matchup in this block that is a lock. You can have your parents cash out their retirement for it. I think you ought to do it. Kevin Buring is going to walk away with 7 points against Jaden Groner. Mark it down. That's the move. Big time 7. Kevin Buring over Jaden Groner.
Thank you for that one. Just to let you guys know, it is officially 4. The show is about to get underway, but we still got a little bit more stuff to cover. We will let you know the minute matches start. We're going to send you on over there. But for right now, we got a few more minutes to go over these last couple matches. So don't leave us just yet. We're going to tell you when to tune over. So you're not going to miss any action watching us. I promise you that. All right, we go to the third series of matches. This is Armin versus John. Potentially not. Could be a replacement. Could be Josh Squires. Unclear. Derek versus Caleb. Sean versus Brett. Andrew versus Sam. And Derek versus Jaden in the second set of matches here. Tim, just initial thoughts.
Good matchups. I'm looking forward to seeing how Armin Bruni does against Officer Grimy, if Grimy competes, or to TBD. And then I also kind of got some eyes on the Derek Adkins Caleb Crump match. I'm really interested in Crump tonight. I want to see how he performs.
Would agree with that. All right, we now move just a little bit further here, Tim. What is your lock of the block, sir?
Lock of the block. Listen, I'm going back to my guy. It's double C's Crumplestein time. Caleb Crump is coming to drop it on you tonight, Derek Atkins. He's going to welcome you to PGF Season 9.
Bold. Love that, Tim. We're going to move on. Here is the next set of matches. This is Austin versus Jake, Chewy versus Kevin, Jared versus Elijah, Jet versus Gio, and Cam versus Travis. Some really good matches. Initial thoughts, sir?
Great matches, man. Magana Buring, I think, will be fun to watch. I also think Facchetti and Carlton is going to be fun to watch. And a big test for Gio Ortiz going up against Jet Thompson.
All right. What is your lock of the block here, sir?
Listen, the Kings aren't going to let up. They're going to have 17 dudes in the top 10 for points scored this season. They'll figure it out mathematically. They're already working on it. I'm going Austin Orenday all day against Jake Strauss Market.
And I have a feeling that's a good match. That also has the potential to be a spoiler, because if Jake does hit a choke, it would really send ripples. But this is a very close matchup today, because you do have Jet, who's looking to have a good day today, against Gio. That's a tough match for him. Talk about these poor alternates. When they get brought in here, they're like, hey, guess who your match is with? It's Jet Thompson. Have fun, handshake, hot dog, get out there. Meanwhile, let's give some respect, though. Cam and Travis. I saw some folks already talking about it. I will put people on that one. That is another day. You know, the Kings want to pride themselves in saying they want the best matches. That's a pretty solid match. Tim, we move to the last series of matches for the day. Andrew versus Gio, Sean versus Jake, Armin versus Elijah, Derek versus Kevin, and Derek versus Travis Haven. What do you have as initial thoughts here?
I mean, good matchups. I think this is going to be a slugfest, top to bottom. The Phenoms are not going to go down easy, so I expect there to be lots of action in all of these matches on this part of Block C.
All right, talk to me. What's your lock of the block, sir?
Lock of the block. As much as I like the Phenoms, I gotta go with my boy Giovanni Ortiz. I think he's gonna bring it from the home state of Tennessee, baby. They're gonna announce him Tennessee by way of Stockton. No, hey, Gio Ortiz is gonna lock it down tonight against Andrew Cockle. I can't wait to watch it.
Thank you very much for that. Let's go to our final 5 matches of the night. Austin versus Brett, Cam versus Jaden, Jared versus potentially Officer Grimy, but likely Josh Squires, Jet versus Sam, and Chewy versus Caleb. With these last matches, initial thoughts here.
I mean, you know, this is depending on how the Wolverines do. Their spirits could be up or they could be really low at this point of the night, being in the last block, facing the top team. So I expect them to be fighting hard, but man, they got to be looking at that like, dang, the last matchup, especially Magana Crump. Like, Crump is always coming in right at the end.
And think of it like this. Crump batting cleanup of all people, against Chewy, who has this like huge fan base out here. Like, I think emotions, energy is going to be very high for that last match. And we're talking the crowd here. You can get tired. There's a lot of matches, but I think they will come alive for that last match. So let us put that. Tim, what is the lock of the block, sir?
I'm going lock of the block, and this is a you might disagree with me, but I think there's a real shot at this, especially if it's past payday. You're down on your luck. You're breaking the kid's piggy bank open because you're trying to put two nickels together. You promised your wife you'd take her to Denny's. Here we go. I'm going Jaden Groner, Olive Garden, all right? Not Denny's. Jaden Groner over Cam Hurd. I know it's controversial. I know Cam is hard to finish, but I think it's going to be Groner's moment, and he's got to take the wife out when he gets back, if he has one. I have no clue.
He's a kid, dude. I think he's got a girlfriend, maybe. I don't know. You know what he really wants? That kid wants tattoos. So if he wins, I think he's going to get a tattoo. Great. So just putting that out there for everybody here. Tim, that's some great work here. Let's return back to the main board. And where we left off, man, that's the comment that just came back. We don't need that one right now. Yeah. All right, we just did blocks. Dude. Let's talk a little bit about the emerging storylines here. That means also emerging players. It's important for people to know that although we keep looking at the top 3 or 4 individuals, there are some folks who very quickly can make themselves part of that top 10, or at least being on the bubble for the top 8 that you really need to make it to the playoffs. So, Tim, who are some people who could potentially emerge tonight, sir?
Well, I got a couple names. I don't think it's rocket science, but if you look at, how the complexion of the lineups are, I think that Strauss has a chance. We don't know if Grimey's going to be in, so we don't know potentially who he's going to go up against that first matchup, but he's going to have a chance there. We know Orande is going to be a banger, but he does have a shot there to win as well, even though I picked against him, and he's going to finish it up against Sean Melanson. That might be a more difficult task, but he only needs a couple of wins to jump into that, top 8 position. And the other dude who I think is lined up potentially to have an okay night could be Caleb Crump. He's going to fight Gio Ortiz. We know he's going to go against Derek Atkins, Chewy Magana, but he's got a chance and he's feeling good. So there's potential for him to move up. And then finally, look, I said it before, but like everybody on the Las Vegas Kings at this point, Kevin Lucas has a shot at making the top 8. Like they got everybody in that lineup, man. They're doing fantastic. So don't count anybody with a Las Vegas Kings white sweater on. They might be able to get their ticket into the top 8.
Travis Thomas heard that and perked up right now and was like, mathematically, I can get in. All right, just need to make a few things happen. Yeah, I like that you put that out there, and things can always turn for Travis Haven, always getting those chokes, being even in a higher spot. And I want to point out one tonight. I feel like somebody who really wants to make a statement this evening is going to be Andrew Cockle. That is an individual who's chomping at the bit. If he can have a good night, I think he could be right in there. And he is incredibly competitive. So I really do feel like you might see that emerge. And if that takes over, he consistently does get a few points on the board. I do wonder if he has a breakout night, if it's tonight, if it's in a couple weeks. We'll see, but it is always, always possible. Tim, I also want to take this over to our next topic, which is that of the roll call. So, Tim, we put a challenge to ourselves, which was to kind of give some metaphors or to try and put things in a way that other people can understand. Maybe you don't know much about the teams, but maybe we can give you some analogies, some metaphors that help you to understand who they might best relate to. Tim, would you like to start us off with this, sir?
Yeah, sure. And I'll run through this for the sake of time. So listen, we're going to jump off with the first team, the premier team right now, the Las Vegas Kings. And I got to say, if I'm thinking sports teams, I'm thinking, I realized it hit me. The white sweaters show up in another sport. And that is in England's favorite sport, not football, cricket. The Yorkshire Cricket Club. I'm convinced that Kevin Lucas is a closet cricket fan, man. I bet he's a cricketeer. I don't know if he's a bowler or a batter or whatever they call him, but listen, man, they got the look, and I think they could pull it off, to be honest. I would like to see them out on like a team outing playing cricket.
Thank you for that. Did you have one more analogy for any of the teams here, Tim?
Oh, yeah. I do, man. I'll jump down to the Alabama Twisters. And I know Alabama, Tennessee, they're not exactly right next to each other, but there's another group of boys out of Tennessee that we call the Oak Ridge Boys. And these dudes look basically like the fathers of the Alabama Twisters. They ain't far off, man. They're right there. Couple leg lock classes with Sean Applegate, and I think the Oak Ridge Boys may be making a run at season 10.
Why does one of those dudes look like either Hall or Oates? I'm not sure which one's which, but that dude looks like he's about to tell you about Private Eyes here in a second. Good
dude,
Lord.
Number 2 looks like John Oates. I agree with you.
But Fleroy Brown, 100%, that is the look, sir. So you aren't off on that.
Spot, yeah.
I do want to point this out, though. Everybody here was asking what time do the matches start. We're very close. We're just a few minutes away, which means this show is about to come to a close very soon. But the minute somebody walks out here, we are essentially calling it a day. So as a reminder, you want to watch these 30 matches, and then you want to come directly back here when it is done. And you're going to hang out with me as we do interviews with some of the most prominent names of the day. But before we get out of here, we do have a little bit of business left. And Tim, just this weekend was the Oscars, where they handed out awards to some of the best and the brightest in entertainment. And it got me thinking, why don't we hand out awards here? I mean, aside from the fact that we can't make awards, it's money, like a whole pomp and circumstance. But I'm in a suit too, and I'm in the mood to give you some nominees for this year's Most Supportive Performance. The nominees are Zoe with this look that reads, I see what you did there. Brett Moyer, seemingly blinking like he's a Muppet in between words. Also nominated. Jed Thompson with, what's going on under there, man? You good? Also nominated for Best Supportive Performance. Kevin with whatever's going on here. Unclear.
Okay.
Also, look at this. It's Jared Funfetti. Listen, everybody says the name wrong. We're just going to embrace it. So we could at least be saying Funfetti. Additionally, Best Cameo for Supportive Performance, Andy Varela, who literally just showed up to be like, hey, man, I don't know, get that money. You guys do what you need to do. Additionally, Noah, for just hanging out, being a bud, buggy choking people when they say they can't be buggy choked. I don't want to find out. I believe you, kid. And Fleroy Brown for doing this in the middle of a gross-ass freaking casino.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Oscar for Best Supportive Performance goes to Fleroy Brown for being incredibly disgusting for doing this. Hey, if you hear that behind me, that means the show is about to go on right now. So that means turn your attention to the main broadcast right now. Do not go anywhere. Watch 30 matches. Come hang out with me afterwards, you guys. But the action begins right now. I'm telling you, turn the channel. Come see us again in 30 matches. Your boy will be here with the post show. Tim, I love you. I will talk with you guys a little bit later. Be sure, like, comment, subscribe, watch PGF tonight, and then see us a little bit later on. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.